Hey guys, hope you're having a good weekend. I know I had a good time at Disney World with my family, and we're back, and my son and his family's here. My grandson and my actually two grandsons now. I've got a brand new baby grandson, so I'm grandpa twice. But they're here, and so they actually are out right now, so I thought I'd come out here and make a quick video. I worked on this top a little bit earlier, and so let's talk about this mill gauge that I picked up. So this only goes to 15 mils. Okay, so I didn't really know what a mil was, so I got a mil conversion thing and figured it out. A millimeter and a mil is not the same thing from what I get. So I was a machinist for about 13 years before I got on the fire department, and so thousandths makes sense to me. Anything decimals makes sense to me, and so just like if you're a carpenter, fractions would make sense to you. You'd be using a tape measure all the time, but for me, this made sense to me. So basically, from what I gather, 1 mil is 1/1000th. That's basically it. I mean, I got a conversion chart, looked at it. It's a conversion calculator. I put in 1 mil. It comes over exactly to 1/1000th. So this thing basically measures up to 15 thousandths. Okay, so if you can see that, 15 thousandths is so tiny that I can't even get my fingernail in between it. I mean, it's that small. I mean, it's probably the thickness of maybe a piece of paper. I don't know. Let's look at it. See if I can get a piece of paper in between it. Okay, so that's just the front. Let's see if I get 2 pieces of paper in there. Yeah, so basically the thickness of maybe a little over a piece of paper. That's kind of a thick, because that's the front of that pro gauge. Anyway, regardless, long story short, what this comes down to is I had no idea what I was talking about trying to keep this at 5 mils. Not going to happen ever. And didn't really know anything about the mill thickness and how that works. So now I'm kind of catching the graph, and I'm going to say I know anything about it because I really still don't. But using this, best I can gather is I got 10 to 12 mils of build thickness with the epoxy that's on here and the slick sand. Okay, that was 3 coats, so 4-ish mils per coat is about what I gathered. Don't know if that's normal, don't know if that's what you're supposed to get, but that's what I got. Let me show you how this works. Basically, it's like a magnet, and you hold it by the end and you just pull it out. As you pull it out, it pulls away. What it lets loose right there is about 12. All right, between 10 and 12. Yep, about 10 and 12. Maybe say 11 mils is what I've got on there. There's no filler or anything on that. Your just regular epoxy, if anybody cares. This is just epoxy. There's no filler or anything on this. Alright, so here you're 6, 5, 4, 2. It's about 1 mil or 1/1000th of an inch is about how thick that is, and that's 2 coats of epoxy. So that's paper, super paper thin, super thin. So the roof was my biggest worry because I just didn't get it on there like I really wanted it to be, and if you can see it, it blocked out the best I can tell, it blocked out really nice. Now that's just in 180. I used 180 only. If I had it to do over again, this stuff doesn't sand like regular primer. It doesn't even sand as nice as the Evercoat Ultra. It's a little tougher. So if I had it to do over again, which on these I'll probably do, just to flatten it out, I'll lightly go over it with 80, and then I'll switch over to 180. Because on this, I just used all 180, and it turned out. I think it turned out pretty good. I've sanded this down. This is ready for high build. I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I got a couple of little pinholes somewhere in here that I'm gonna just take a razor blade and put a little bit of glazing putty in. Then I'll go back over it real quick with some 180 on a soft block, knock all that down. But this is done right here. I'm gonna put the rest of it together, doors and everything. Then I will block all this rest of this, together. But I just wanted to see how this roof was going to turn out, because I figured, I just didn't spray it on good. I just sucked at it. I just didn't get it overlapping like I wanted, and it looks really nice. Like I said, I blocked it out. I used this big long bad boy here with 180 on it. I think it'll be fine, because I'm going to put 3 coats of high build over this. The high build that I'm using is supposed to build 2.5 mils per coat. So that'll give me, that ought to make it, like I said, I'll hit that with 180, 320, and then final it out in probably 600. So here's another thing for you. So let's say you want what is it, 62.5 is a 64th, or no, it'd be a 1/16 of an inch of say filler, just to give you an idea how small 62.5 is. Okay, so I've seen people put up to 1/4 of an inch or more of filler. Now that's 250 thousandths. Let's say 249.5. That's right there. That is huge. That's literally almost as thick as my iPhone. And that's, that would be ridiculous, but that's about what my Camaro has on it. And they, I've seen some things that say, an 1/8 inch is about what you want to be on your filler. 1/4 inch is really pushing it. Man, to me, that's crazy. So what's 1/8 of an inch? 0.125, I think. If I remember right, it's been a long time. I think it's 0.125. So that's, that's not bad. I could see that. But what I'm getting at is this car here, it's got a couple of coats of epoxy, and it's got my filler. Then I went back over it with a couple of coats of epoxy. Then I went back over the slick sand. That all blocked down, done, ready for high build primer. I've got about probably 15 mils of thickness. In some places it's going to be less because it didn't need as much, fill. But just so you know how small that is like the thickness of a piece of paper, maybe a little bit bigger. So yeah, I don't know that you guys that do this for a living, what some of these cars have on them. But this one doesn't have much. So I don't really know if that's good or bad. I mean, I assume that the thinner it is, as long as it's flat and straight, that's what you're after. That's kind of what I was after. I didn't want to just glob a bunch of filler on it and just block it out. You know, have it a 1/4 inch thick. And so I think I've managed that. But right, wrong, I have no idea. Like I said, the longer I do this, the more I think it's making my hair grayer every day. So anyway, guys, there it is. And I don't know how well that'll show up. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But I'm ghosting a little bit through here, and I think we're good to go. That's ready for high build. I'm gonna block the rest of this out. I'll put the doors on. I think I already said that. So that'll be it for today, guys. I was just gonna give you a quick update, and there you go. All right, see you.